I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want. Thanks for logging on. I can't think of a better way to celebrate daylight savings time than with this Panerai Luminor Chrono Daylight Firenze PAM 224 Chronograph. This is from the Panerai 2005 Special Series, and in a lot of ways this watch reads like almost a stainless steel 44mm anthology of Panerai's greatest hits in the modern era. Now, it is one of only 100 made, so this is a limited edition in the strictest sense, but you're getting an awful lot when you buy the PAM 224. Let me polish this up a little bit because this watch deserves it. First and foremost, there's that dial. Let's talk about that dial because that is the highlight here. In fact, it's a whole bunch of highlights because this special radially grained metallic sunburst dial features a complex finish, an interesting tritonal color scheme that adds incredible life, and even compared to the polish of the tachometer bezel, the polish of the case, and the crown guard, this thing is the anchor for the design. Everything about it is special. Start with that blue. It's not lacquered, it's not painted, it is a metal, and it is keyed to both the sub-registers and the date disc, so it's blanket. It has tremendous effect. Now, I showed earlier a Datejust 116254 with a sunburst metallic blue dial. This one's a little bit darker, it's a little bit deeper and more intense than that. It's also a lot bigger. In a 44mm Panerai, a dial with this kind of treatment just explodes, and I really regret right now that I don't have some sort of high-intensity light to shine at this thing, because when sunlight hits this watch, it is a completely unique experience. Not just among Panerai, but among all large sports watches. And the way the white printing, the calibrations of the minutes track, the calibrations of the subdials, the script Luminor Panerai Firenze contrasts with the beautiful sausage dial, key lime lume, and that deep dark blue. It's almost a cobalt metallic. It is absolutely gorgeous. Various times it looks like it might be flat matte, or it might be iridescent and explosive. It's something that's very dynamic and has to be experienced not just once, but many times to get the full range of its effects. And it is the key to setting this watch apart. Now, in 2005, this Panerai Special Series, they had 3 separate references featuring this dial as a tribute to the original Panerai boutique and the ancestral Panerai Orologeria boutique slash watchmaking school slash watch shop in Florence, originally founded by Giovanni Panerai in 1860. Florence, or Firenze in Italian, was the ancestral homeland of the now Swiss-Italian brand Officine Panerai. Now, it's still maintained today as a sort of combination boutique and museum, but these limited edition Panerai Florence watches come along every once in a while, and they are scarce as hen's teeth on a rooster. Fittingly, I've got my rooster right here. But the bottom line is, when you get these watches, you need to appreciate them for what they are. Not just rare, but they are always unique design efforts. Now, this year you saw the 607 with its anthracite sunburst dial. This is the same effect, but in blue, and with the combination of all Arabic numerals, very unusual for a Panerai watch. It only gets more unique as you move outward from the dial. You see that it has a polished bezel with tachometer scale, fully polished device protecting the crown, fully polished case. Now, in addition to its many other standout virtues, this watch is the only polished bezel, polished case, daylight reference available. So in that sense at least, it is completely unique in the history of Officine Panerai, which, as we now know, stretches back to 1860. But even in the modern era, since 1993, this watch embodies a lot of what is the best about the company. I said it's almost like an anthology of the company's greatest hits. Take one of the most important and memorable special series dials ever, combine it with that beautiful polished tachometer bezel and polished case, add the Sylvester Stallone mythos, the fact that this is a daylight model that harks back to those formative days in the mid-90s when Stallone was filming the movie Daylight in Rome, discovered Panerai watches in sort of a jeweler's swap shop in Rome, ordered a couple hundred of them basically, customized with the Daylight script on the dial and the case back. That basically put the company on the map. It was unpaid celebrity endorsement at the highest level. They started appearing on the likes of Stallone, his crew, his friends, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis. Everyone who is basically a tough guy or a badass was hopping onto the Panerai bandwagon on their own dime. It wasn't sponsored, it wasn't product placement, it was by choice. And that's where the sort of uncalculated cool of Panerai comes from these days. That's sort of at the root of the appeal. That, and of course, the military heritage of the company. And in that sense, that's the final greatest hit playing on this particular set of tracks. You have that classic Panerai Luminor case. Now, Luminor was originally a paint, a lightly radioactive luminescent paint developed during the 50s to replace the previous paint, radial. Radial was a gamma emitter, so that was a no-go in the nuclear age. We were starting to get wise to what radiation could do, but the bottom line is with a new paint came a new case shape. Known back then as the 6152, it is essentially the shape we know as the Luminor today. It has the same integrated lugs, the device protecting the crown, and let me show you that, because even that's a little special on this watch. This one hinges from the middle and extends from the bottom. Normally they hinge from the middle of the crown guard and they extend downward from the top. This one also integrates the pushers of the chronograph. Let's not forget this is a chronograph, COSC chronometer certified, but the pushers are beautifully integrated into the flanks of the crown guard, and you could almost miss them if you're not looking for them. So when you get that classic 6152 mid-50s Panerai combat heritage look, you don't spoil it with the addition of the chronograph and its actuators. It's very nicely integrated by keeping the subdials of the same tone as the dial itself, so they blend in, they get lost until you're looking for them, and then taking the crown guard with its massive crescent form, its iconic profile, and using it as a basis to integrate the pushers into the case flanks with as small a visual signature as possible. Now, the movement inside the watch is a Panerai OP12 caliber, and it is very rugged. It's based on the Valjoux 7753, so you get all the good stuff that you want in an everyday watch. You get automatic winding, you get a date wheel, you get COSC chronometer certification, that old school Panerai thing that they're not really doing anymore. You have that third-party endorsement of the watch's chronometric efficiency over 2 weeks at multiple temperatures in multiple positions. This watch, of course, comes the way collectors would want it. 100% complete with all boxes, papers, and accessories, including a spare rubber strap and that all-important COSC chronometer certificate to prove the pedigree of this fine automatic movement, which is just as tough as the watch's exterior. And of course, because this is a limited edition, you get this beautiful tribute to the source material and inspiration, the orologeria, the original Panerai storefront in Florence. It still looks like this today, a narrow storefront showcasing the wares. You can still go in there today and you can buy Panerai watches, including special editions exclusive to the boutique. What you cannot buy is this PAM 224. Out of production now for a full decade, this is one of the most coveted and sought Panerai references. Unique in so many ways, from the dial to its unique polished daylight distinction, to its combination of all those wonderful attributes that make Panerai desirable to Paneristi collectors and cognoscenti of luxury watches and fine horology in general. This is an exquisite reference that anyone can appreciate. See this one on our website, Watch You Want, with full boxes, papers, and accessories. This is the Panerai Luminor Chrono Daylight Firenze PAM 224.